everyone, so final video review for this week is for my paperback read from last week, which was Nightingale by Andrea Bramhall. If any of you haven't seen the introduction video, I did do that last week, so that is still available on YouTube and on my blog, so you can go and check that out. But for any of you that didn't see it, this is just a quick look at what the book looked like. If you want to check out my Goodreads review, I did just post that the other day, so if you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description below, and if you're on Facebook or on my blog, then there is a link within the post. And this is the video review. So Nightingale by Andrea Bramhall is absolutely tragically beautiful. I can't believe it. I said in the introduction video last week that I got this book when I went to LCon, and I met Andrea for the very first time, and I asked her to recommend which one of her books was the most controversial, and she recommended Nightingale, so I bought it. I love a controversial story, and this was so controversial. It's the story of Charlie and Hazar. Charlie is swept off her feet by Hazar when she meets her at university, but cultural differences for Hazar means that she has to be on her guard. So she's got religious and cultural differences with her family, and she is desperate to live a life that isn't destined to her. She wants her education, and it's currently providing her that escape to be what she wants to be. She wants to be a sort of a musician, and she wants to have that career. She wants to be different from what her family, what her culture, what her religion would insist that is the path she take for life. So her education is providing that escape, and it's only as long as she can keep her family, who are paying for it, her father, happy. So swept away in this total whirlwind romance, Hazar is considering standing up to her father and telling him about Charlie when the rug is literally pulled out from under her and she has to make a choice. Years later, Charlie's future hasn't panned out as she planned, and she finds herself working in Pakistan. She's a diplomat for the UK United Kingdom embassy, and a phone call from a woman in danger has Charlie wondering if fate has found a way to bring her and Hazar together again. But will there be time? It then becomes a time sensitive issue. So it's a really impactful adventure, this story. There's a lot going on, and it's very cleverly engineered to bring you their entire story. So I'm going to say this now because I'm not going to be able to do this any justice, and I said the same in my written review. I don't know how I'm going to do this story justice. I don't think I managed it in words. If you've read the review, please let me know if I did. I know it won't be anywhere near as amazing as the story, because I just can't really explain to you how vitally important this story was and how amazing it was. I don't think I'll do it enough justice. You've really got to read it for yourself to have that experience and understand. So I can see why this was an award-winning book, and not only for the plot but for the emotional content, like the amount of it that was conveyed. The emotions in this story elicited from me were, you've got Charlie and Hazar falling in love, and then you've got the tragic events that lead to Hazar's heartbreaking choices, and it completely overwhelmed me. I picked this up, and no word of a lie, I read it in a day. Again, I had to keep stopping and writing down reading updates because I got so invested in the story that it was really impossible to put it down. I think this was a deeply emotional book, and the connection it allowed to the characters just really drew me in, and I was completely invested in the experience. But Andrea's very cleverly put the story together. She gives you glimpses of the past, and she gives you the present day as well. So it's really cleverly, like I say, engineered for you to get a sense of both that part of everything that happened between Charlie and Hazar, and then their current situations in the future. So present day, but it would be future to them. They wouldn't have known back then. So at times, and I suppose in both instances, both the past examples of their relationship and then the present day, in both instances I was scared, I was frightened, and I was heartbroken. But there were also emotions of hope and elation, of sheer joy and happiness. That's what I mean. There was a total roller coaster of emotion here. You were going through, as a reader, so much whilst experiencing these two's story, and the emotions, they were so carefully balanced that it literally left me a total mess, which I'm fine with, because it means I was really touched, and I'm still thinking about this book even now. Like, I literally can't get it out of my head. It is going to be a book that sticks with you. But it really, I did feel really emotionally connected and really touched by sort of the tragic beauty of these soulmates, because it's a tragic romance, if you like. It's absolutely heartbreaking at times, and it's lovely at others. And I just think this has to be one of the greatest love stories I have ever read. What Charlie does for Hazar, both in the past and in the present, and how proud Hazar is in obeying and being respectful to her family and her culture and her religion, her father in particular, was really touching. She sort of knew her responsibilities, and it had that strong message that's sort of conveyed a little bit with culture, where you're not expected to turn your back, or you didn't know that you had a choice because your family's always been so passionate. I suppose it was that kind of message, and you always thought you had to, but you didn't know that you didn't. It was that kind of conflict, I guess. But for me, Charlie, what an amazing woman. I mean, when you learn of Charlie's past and all she went through with Hazar, and after, you will totally understand why she's so amazing. You have to read it to find out, but she really is. She's an admirable character. She's so strong and passionate and loving, and she is someone who definitely to be admired. I mean, everyone could do with their own Charlie. She's an absolute angel. But I will say this story, it covers some extremely dark and deep subjects, but it was also very educational and eye-opening. I don't know that much about religion. I am not overly religious, and obviously Hazar was from a very cultural and religious background that has been misconstrued a lot. So the amount of effort and research it must have taken to produce such a realistic depiction of cultural, social, religious and personal divides is absolutely admirable. It must have taken Andrea forever, and there was so much sort of explored and covered and explained, I guess, for me to learn about. I didn't know some of this about the I think it's Islamic culture that is covered in here, and I didn't know some of this, and that's the problem. We only see what we see on the media, and if we don't learn for ourselves, we won't know that there's more to it, and that there are different sides to this. That's the sad factor here. There are different sides to this, and there was just so much packed into this story that had me thinking, left me contemplating, and I'm going to be honest with you, it really upset me. I love a controversial story. I really do. Anything with confrontation and exploring heavy subjects. And that's why I really love it, because I can get a real deep emotional connection. This book really, really, really upset me, but it's an amazing book. To write a book that can have such emotional sway on somebody's feelings is real talent. It's amazing if you can write a book like that to really affect someone so deeply, so personally. It's to be complimented. It really is. I love Andrea's book. I think it's one of my all-time favourites, and I wasn't at all prepared for what this book was going to do, and Andrea handled each and every aspect carefully, respectfully, realistically, and most importantly, sensitively. She was really careful with the information she conveyed in this book, but she did it realistically. There's no point skirting over the facts. There's some horrible things that happen to people who are extreme with religion, and there was examples of some of that in here. So do be warned, you have to be. I wasn't emotionally ready, I still am not emotionally ready, and I'll go back and read this book again unprepared, but I think it's one of those books that yeah, read it, really read it. It's really important as a story, and I appreciate some people will find this book very difficult to stomach, but if you can, 100% worth it. So worth it. You will learn so much, you will feel so much, and you will be truly blown away. I am lost for words. I can't. This book, I couldn't put it down. I found myself totally lost in the story, holding my breath for an awful lot of it, crying over an awful lot more of it. I'm trying really hard not to cry. I don't want it all running down my face. But thank you, Andrea, for being so brave to write such a controversial and different story. This is like nothing else I have read, and it's a credit to Andrea. It's an absolute credit to her. It definitely has earned its place in one of my all-time favourite books, and it will stay with me in so many respects. The story, the characters, everything it stands for, and I could easily read this time and time again. I just loved the emotional connection. I loved how much it made me feel. It's truly stunning, and I would definitely recommend it. Go and check it out. It's a beautiful but heartbreaking story. If you would like to grab a copy of Nightingale by Andrea Bramhall, which I really hope you will, I hope you'll give it a try. I'll pop a link in the description so that you can. If you've read Nightingale by Andrea Bramhall, I would really love you to get in touch or comment below and talk to me about it, because I think it's a really important book. It's a really important story, and I just really want to talk about it so much. And if you haven't read it yet, but you're planning to read it, it's on your to be read list, or you are now really interested in reading it, I do hope you'll comment below and let us know, because I think, again, this is one of those books where it's a personal decision whether you read it or not, and it would be really great to hear who is interested in reading it. I know I absolutely love it. I will definitely go back to it time and time again, and I've been really moved. I've been really touched and really moved, and just well done, Andrea. What a fantastic book. Yeah, so I hope you'll go and check it out. Bye.